A quick new idea daily from the world's greatest TEDx talks. I'm your host, Atossa Leoni, and this is TEDx Shorts. What do you do on a Friday night to unwind from the week? Maybe you binge a baking show or read travel guides, or maybe, like today's speaker, you fight goblins. Ethan Gilsdorf is a writer, teacher, and avid Dungeons and Dragons enthusiast, and he's here to share a few ways D&D and other fantasy games can help you in your actual day-to-day life.
Hi, my name is Ethan. So I grew up around here in the seacoast area of New Hampshire in the 1970s. And like a lot of kids during those times, I played a lot of board games. Let's see, there was Risk, Stratego, Battleship, Clue, Sorry, Monopoly. And they were good. But then in 1974, along came a new game. A game called Dungeons and Dragons, also known as D&D. It was a game that changed everything. D&D introduced to the planet rules for fantasy role-playing. And I want to remind you, this is a time long, long ago, before video games like Minecraft or World of Warcraft, before Star Wars. This game is played in the imagination. And the way you play it is each person around the table assumes the role of a character. And each character has skills and attributes which are represented by numbers. So you might have 16 strength, pretty good. 3 charisma, not so good. And one player, known as the Dungeon Master or the DM, is kind of the referee, the god, the creator, the world builder, and sets the scenario into motion. And when you play, you describe to your fellow players what you're going to do. So you might say something like, I asked the bartender when was the last time she saw the prince? Or, I rush at the troll with my warhammer and try to smash its skull. So as a group, you tell the story together. And best of all, no one knows what happens next. Now, as a kid at the time, I was dealing with my own monsters. The same year that I learned to play Dungeons and Dragons, in 1979, this woman, my mother, was stricken down by a crippling brain aneurysm, which left her physically and mentally and emotionally disabled. I was already a hopeless introvert, and this situation made me feel even more powerless, as if my world had been turned upside down, as if I was trapped in the maze of my own adolescence. And so these games allowed me to escape my fears and to enter into a fantasy world where I could be someone else, someone with power, someone with control, someone with agency. And I played these games obsessively through my childhood. And then I stopped. And then 25 years later, I began to play again as a 40-something, more or less grown-up adult male. And I realized something. These games were important. These games shaped me. These games gave me incredible tools, a coping mechanism to deal with my situation at the time. These games are powerful. But fantasy role-playing games can benefit anyone. So let me share with you ways that D&D and the power of fantasy can help you combat the perils and challenges of reality and help you become a better person in the real world. Collaboration and teamwork. So, unlike some games, in these fantasy role-playing games, you're not some ruthless real estate mogul trying to bankrupt your fellow players and erect hotels all across Middle-earth from Hobbiton to Mordor. No, you work together, collaboratively. And collaboration, or the understanding of what collaboration is all about understanding the power of teamwork and diversity. Let's go back to that situation with the troll. Remember the troll? Let's say you decide to fight it. You and your party have a range of skills and talents to draw from. There's the fighter who's good at fighting. There's the spellcaster who can blast it with spells. There's the healer who can heal up people when they fall down in battle. There is a group of people, and each of them plays their part. And this lesson can be applied to your life, with your office mates, with your circle of friends, with your family. Everybody plays a part. And it's okay to rely on each other. I've got your back. You've got my back. Never split the party. Character building builds character. So, like in life, in role-playing games, you begin at level 1, at the bottom of the ladder. You're a wuss. You've got 4 hit points, you have a rusty sword, and you can cast one spell that makes pancakes. But have patience, my friends, and you will gain in experience, and you will gain in experience points, and you will grow in skill and strength. And you do this how? You do this by taking risks. Why? Because risks lead to reward. So let's go back to the troll. You're this newbie player, and you're just fresh off the farm, and you're fighting the troll, and you just had to do this kooky thing. You climb up the wall of the castle, and during the battle, you leap off the wall onto the back of the castle, and you've got your rock, and you try to bang it on the head. Why not, right? You've got nothing to lose. So this game is sort of providing you this environment to take risks and to fail in a safe way, in a safe place. And take it from me, a 17th level nerd, that you will heal from your defeats and setbacks and embarrassments and other mortifying situations. So the next step in your journey to building your character is thinking about connection, empathy, and tolerance. The problem is that I am me, and you are you. There is the self, there's the other. Dwarves are from Mars, elves are from Venus. How do you bridge that gap? You bridge that gap through the intersection of role-playing. So the fantasy game's role-playing space that gets created while you play creates this opportunity to inhabit someone else's skin. You can play someone who's like yourself, or you can play someone who's not like yourself. And because of the immersive narrative of the game, you and your fellow players are constantly put into situations where you're interacting with other people and other creatures, dragons, bartenders, dwarves. You get the picture. And you can imagine what their predicament is, what their situation is, what their point of view is. So this is why these fantasy role-playing games are the perfect empathy training machine for the real world. And so because of the game and my experiences with the game, I can look at my arch nemesis at work. I can think about that guy on I-95 on the drive up here who cut me off. I can think about that bully I encountered in high school with a little bit more empathy and a little bit more compassion. My final lesson, the power of narrative and the imagination. So none of these games work without a story, without the imagination. What I argue is that what's getting activated in your minds is the wondering mind. You begin to wonder, what goes on here? Who lives here? What's the story? What happens next? Now, for sure, we have movies and we have television shows and video games that offer these immersive, richly textured narratives and worlds. But they don't engage our imagination in the same way. And I think it's precisely because of role-playing games' crude tools, dice and pieces of paper and maps, and those silly little figurines. You are required to bring your imagination to the gaming table to complete the picture. Okay? We used to sit around the fire telling each other stories. And it seems to me that today we've settled for being passive consumers of prepackaged narratives. Stories, movies, which are created by millions of Hollywood dollars and thousands of digital animators. It seems as if that the power of storytelling has been taken from us. And role-playing games return that power to us. And they also spark the imagination. I can think of so many areas and interests that were sparked or kindled through my experience playing these games. Everything from history to poetry to geography to languages to the natural history and biology of elvish maidens. All because of this game. It made me want to be a storyteller and a creator and a world builder, and to take that imaginative leap to imagine a better world. So, to you I say, gather around the fire of each other's imaginations and go on an adventure.
The TEDx talk you just listened to was recorded in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. All TEDx events are independently organized by volunteers who believe in TED's mission of ideas worth spreading. Special thanks to the organizing team at TEDxPiscataquaRiver. Want to listen to more TEDx talks? Explore the entire archive on the TEDx YouTube channel. I'm Atossa Leoni. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.